Don't you love these chords? I love them. I can spend a whole hour improvising around these chords. But these are not many chords. This is just one. It's a very special piano chord or harmonic chord called the suspended chord. Hello, my name is Alberto from the London Contemporary School of Piano, and this is your must-know suspended chord piano tutorial. And if you're a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, head to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and request for a free resources kit. It will include materials featured from our YouTube tutorials, including this one. So, how does it look? On paper, on a jazz lead sheet, this might come up in different ways, like a G7 sus, or a G sus4, or even a G7 sus4. And a lot of students, particularly intermediate or even sometimes advanced jazz students, can be a little bit, intimidated by this, because it does refer to a sound and a chord rather different from what they used to. So let's take, for example, this G7 sus, and let's first hear how it sounds. Certainly, there is a feel of openness, of great spaces, open spaces. There is also a sense of unfinished. This song cannot finish right here. We has to go somewhere. And if I play different suspended chords, this sense of unfinished still remains. We are feeling we're gonna go somewhere. This is a particular feature of the suspended chord. As a matter of fact, the suspended chord means a couple of things. First of all, it means that the mode of the chord is suspended. What do I mean by that? What is the mode of a chord? You know that chords are major or minor. The third of the chord is the note that determines whether the chord is major or minor, and a chord without the third is a chord without a mode. So G4 is a chord without a mode. Its mode is suspended. But I think the term suspension also refers to what we were saying earlier, the sense of openness, undefined, unfinished, being undefined. So it's really a magnificent sound to get lost in. The suspended 4/7/4 chord is a chord that has the fourth and the seventh. This is quite tricky for our harmonic brain, because we have learned that if we think of a G, we're gonna find the third and the fifth. But in this case, we're going to find the fourth and the seventh. Inversions of this chord are also unintuitive, because you have this interval of second. It's very important that one gets familiar with this sound a little bit. This is not everything, there is more to it, but for now it's important that one gets familiar with this very open sound. Actually, I might recommend that for each of the 12 notes, you review the major chord and the 4/7 chord. For example, G major, G4/7, F major, F4/7, D major, D4/7. So in the beginning, to think about it this way might be tricky, but I have a much simpler way to get about it. So here it is. The best way to think about a G7 sus4 chord is take a G, identify the note one step below F, and play F major. I'll say it again. Take a G, identify the note one whole step below G, it's an interval of major second, and turn it into a major triad. That's your G7 sus4 chord. How is that possible, Alberto? How do we get there? Well, if you look closely, you will recognize that F is the 7th and C is the 4th. Interestingly, the chord of F adds also the 9th of G, which matches and fills the chord quite nicely. So, a good exercise will be to invert the chord of F, maintaining the G in the bass. That already sounds, glorious to me. Let's do it on a different chord. Let's do it from C. Remember, C, and then we go one whole step below. What do we find? B flat. B flat major. Let's invert it. Okay. Let's go to F. A whole step below F, we find E flat major. Let's invert it. So practice moving your suspended chord around the keyboard, and remember to make these two distinct calls, whether you're looking at the root, which is shown in the chord symbol, or you're looking at the major triad in the right hand. It is a great delight for me to work at the school and help students such as yourself transform their playing. So go to our website and you can ask about booking a class, or perhaps you want to leave us an inquiry and tell us a bit about yourself. It will be great to meet next time in front of a piano. Now, how to improvise on it? There are a couple of ways, but I will say that most of the time I tend to improvise in just one way. Look at this. If you consider G and the F chord, you can see these two chords as, these two items, musical items, as the dominant and the subdominant of a key. In this case, it's easy to say. We are in the key of C major. But if we think about the dominant and the subdominant, if we think about these two items as dominant and subdominant, you recognize how the sense of unfinishedness and the sense of openness, the tension that it carries, it leads towards the tonic. So the dominant leads to C, and the subdominant leads to C. It's beautiful. I enjoy thinking about this in this term because this way of thinking puts together two very different cadences: the dominant to tonic, the perfect cadence, and the subdominant to tonic, the plagal cadence. Putting them together, it's very gospel-y kind of sound. And one can make the exercise again. So for example, F suspended. Okay, F, let's go one step below, we find E flat, and here is our chord of E flat. Now, F is the dominant and E flat is the subdominant. What key are we talking about? Well, obviously B flat. So, why do we get here? Because we were trying to answer the question, how to improvise on it. How about you improvise in the scale of B flat? Makes perfect sense. Right? All the dots align in one particular scale. Certainly, there is also a minor option. If you take G sus, right, this can lead into G minor. This is a slightly more modal sound. Maybe I'm thinking of just a simple G minor natural. Or maybe even a G minor Dorian, in this case, with the E natural. So, and if you're a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, head to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and request for a free resources kit. It will include materials featured from our YouTube tutorials, including this one. The best way to learn how to use this chord, how to master it and put it, introduce it, insert it in the music that you play, is to feel very familiar with this sound and to develop a hand, to develop a familiarity with this double chord, one thing in the left and one thing in the right. So I really recommend you to play around in as many keys as possible. Sounds a bit odd, but everything can be expanded and made more interesting. Let's take some example from the repertoire. I'm thinking of Nina Simone. I wish I knew how it feels to be free. It's a very long title for me to say. Suspended. Isn't it nice? There we go. This is a B flat major above a C. Another example, super famous, is Isn't She Lovely? Isn't she? There we go, suspended. This is a B suspended. Chord of A major above a B. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she suspended? Okay. Another example could be, what is it, September? What is this? Do you see it? This is a G major chord over an A. Okay. This is the harp, super cool. And then, final example, let's go to Stevie Wonder again. This is My Cherie Amour. Suspended. And another suspended. So, Stevie Wonder has 4 chords, 2 of which are suspended. Suspended, this is a F sharp suspended. And then A flat suspended. You can tell this is a G flat major, and at the bottom we have I hope this tutorial gave you the starting point to explore a bit more in this beautiful sound, the suspended chord. I really spent a lot of time myself working on this harmony, and now that I feel familiar with it, it's such a great musical item, a piece of vocabulary that a proficient pianist and a good improviser should have. And also, it's quite impressive for people who don't know what it is. You can just say, all right, and they all go, oh, what is that? Well, that's always fun to impress people around. It is a great delight for me to work at the school and help students such as yourself transform their playing. So go to our website and you can ask about booking a class, or perhaps you want to leave us an inquiry and tell us a bit about yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.